Hello, it's the Fat Boy back again with another F1 2021 19 career mode episode here in Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. So to start things off, in the R&D chart, we are right beside AlphaTauri and Aston Martin, and McLaren is a little bit ahead of us in the R&D chart, so we are starting to fight the midfield quite a lot now. We are starting to score more and more points in Monza, so obviously I have high hopes and expectations for myself towards the last half of this season. So probably season two could be the making of our team here, and be sure to not miss any parts of this video because there's so much action here, so many overtakes and battles around the track here in Monza as we now head into qualifying. And if you haven't done already, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications in order not to miss future uploads. Uh, I'm planning to do two videos of F1 in the next week because it's the March holidays, so I have a lot of time on my hands. So now back to the topic here into qualifying. We head down the final corner of Parabolica. As we now cross the finish line, it's going to be a 1 minute 20.3. We are 5.5 tenths off of Lewis Hamilton. So 5.5 tenths behind Mercedes is actually quite a big deal, especially as a midfield team because that's where we are going to improve. And so far, straight line speed is going to be our advantage in the next few races. As we now head towards the end of Sector 2, heading into the Ascari chicane, just throwing the car in to the three corners. So now we are 4.5 tenths up, heading into the final back straight, setting ourselves up for the breaking point of Parabolica or Alboreto. I forgot which is which now, so I'll just have to do my own research based on the corner name. So anyway, we are just 440 thousandths of a second as we cross the finish line. We are 380 milliseconds slower than Daniel Ricciardo there. And here we entered back into the pit lane to refuel and change the tires, and I actually decided to do some changes to the downforce. I'm gonna reduce the downforce on the front wing, mainly because that I want to try to see whether greater straight line speed is better. And that should be the obvious option because Monza is about speed, not about downforce. So now heading into the Ascari chicane, we just throw the car in. We do get quite a bit of understeer at the first part of the chicane. We do get quite a bit of oversteer since we mounted the curb there. And we actually gain quite a lot of time because thanks to the oversteer at the last corner of the chicane, we managed to actually gain a few thousandths of a second heading into Parabolica. We use all the exit curb at the wider part of the track to our advantage as we are now just below, or in fact just above 1.5 tenths of a second. So now we did one more lap here. I think this is the final lap of Q1 that we did. We are 1.5 tenths up, actually just below 1.5 tenths up. We had quite a bad entry at Parabolica, and then we just bring our car to the inside line, and we are just below 1.5 tenths of a second faster than our previous timing, and we are just below 1.5 tenths slower than Yuki Tsunoda. So now towards the end of the session, we finish in P10. We are in fact 4 to 5 tenths off of Carlos Sainz. So um, he is starting to find form. Um, trying to get back into form. That's what I should say. And hopefully he can get into Q3 for this video. So hopefully we can have like two of our cars into the top 10 for the race. As now we head into Q2, I tried to reduce the tire pressure to get more grip and traction, but I do remember that tires can overheat sometimes here. So now I'm just gonna show you the last corner of the first lap that we did. In fact, the first and only lap that we did here on the Q2. As we are 24 milliseconds slower than Valtteri Bottas, or 24 thousandths of a second. I don't know which one is correct. So either way, we still advanced into Q3, and not the same. And it's not the same story for Carlos Sainz. He is out of Q3 by a couple of tenths, and I think he's still trying to find his form, especially now he's in the second race with his new team here in Monza. So I guess that's a valid reason for him. As now I'm just gonna show you the end of the first lap and the second lap as well, as we use all the road on the outside line into Parabolica. Now into the main straight, we get a 1 minute 19.461. We are 2 tenths slower than Valtteri Bottas with DRS open, almost getting up to 350 kilometers per hour, breaking 100 meters into the first chicane. We were so slow that we were 3.5 tenths slower than our first lap into Q3. So let's now head into Curva Grande. I'm trying to apply as little steering input as possible, so that I can carry more speed. Heading into the De La Roja chicane, we head into the first apex, second apex. It was so clean that we gained so much time, over 2 tenths of a second, because we didn't even hit the sausage curb, not even one bit. So as we now head into the first Lesmo, we're getting quite a pretty exit as we now head into the second Lesmo, using all the curb on the exit there while staying on the track limits as well. So now DRS open, we are just below half a tenth faster than our first lap. And now we should get a green sector 2 as we now head into the Ascari chicane, just throwing the car into the first, second and third apex of this corner. As we're just below 2 tenths of a second, heading into the final back straight, setting ourselves up for the breaking point in Parapolica, which is the DRS detection line, which is the white line right there as we actually go a bit wide at the apex. Using all the track at the exit to make up some of that lost time at turn 11. As now we head down the finish line, we are just below 2.5 tenths faster than our previous lap time, which puts us up to P6. And we still stay in P6, fortunately, but we could have gone up to P4, maybe even P3, if we didn't lose that 3.5 tenths of a second into the first corner in our second lap. So obviously that was not ideal, but we at least get in, but at least we get into Q3, so we're starting to see more progress in the car development. So we really can't say no to that. So hopefully we can move further up the order. Hopefully we can score some huge points, and let's hope that Carlos Sainz does the same thing, scoring the points for today's race. I think he can do that. So we can't really say what's gonna happen right now because we're not in the race. So I'll just see you on the grid on race day.
It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Norris, Gasly, Yuki Tsunoda, the Black Mamba, Bottas, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso and Daniel Ricciardo, Russell, Leclerc, Antonio Giovinazzi and Sainz, Stroll, Joe, Nicholas Latifi and Daniel Ticktum, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman, Mazepin and Esteban Ocon rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
I was going to aim for another top 10 finish. I think we can get points. Most likely we can get points, mainly because if we can comfortably sit in the middle of the top 10, I think we can push to get huge points. Hopefully in the top 5, that's what I hope. As we're going to underfill the car by 0.2 laps of a second, 0.2 laps of fuel. We're going to underfill the car by 0.2 laps, that's what I'm trying to say. As we're going to go 7 laps on the soft compound tires and the final 6 laps on the medium tires. As now here come the 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix, and it's lights out and we are underway. Already Nikita Mazepin getting quite a good start at the back there. As we now head towards turn 1, we are going to go side by side with Valtteri Bottas heading into the first chicane. He has the inside line, so he has the track position, but I have the speed around the outside. So we are still side by side with the Mercedes. We are squeezing him just before the grass there, the Curva Grande. As here we cannot even get past him because the Mercedes has a lot of straight line speed. So I decided to go down the inside line and overtake him back just before the De La Roja chicane into the second Lesmo now, as we are heading into sector 2. Lewis Hamilton has actually took the lead from Sergio Perez at turn 1, I believe. So the Mercedes is just gonna hope that it's gonna last all the way till the checkered flag. As the other Mercedes is stuck in P7. I don't know what's happening to Valtteri Bottas. He's been out of form. I think I could say out of form because he wasn't scoring any podiums lately. But I'm not sure why Verstappen is stuck in P7 as of now. I think he had a penalty at the start of the race. So now we're still in P6 now. No changes whatsoever to our position as the McLaren and Red Bull are going to go side by side heading into the Parabolica. We're already going to see a lot of battles, especially now in lap 1. So Perez is starting to harvest a bit of his ERS as Lando Norris is trying to challenge for a move around the outside of the first corner as we're not that far behind. Pierre Gasly is also getting into the mix as well. So Lando Norris is trying to squeeze Sergio Perez whilst giving him enough space on the inside. Well, we are already side by side with Yuki Tsunoda. We do make a bit of a collision with his right rear tire, but nothing too serious. And thankfully we did not have any damages. Now we're gonna go for the dive bomb down the inside of the Della Roja chicane. Actually at the braking zone of the Della Roja chicane on Yuki Tsunoda. So either way we still get the position. We're gonna score 10 points if we stay in P5. But obviously I want to aim higher. So I'm obviously gonna target for P3. That's what I want. And that would be a very good first podium as well for the team. So now heading into sector 2, we get a green sector 2 as well heading into the Ascara chicane. We just throw the car in just like that. It's actually really simple. But now back into the race. Gasly is getting so close to Lando Norris heading into the braking zone for turn 11, the Parabolica. Getting really close to the McLaren's gearbox there. But Lando Norris gets a better exit because Gasly has the DI, but he now has the slipstream heading into turn 1. We are not that far behind. We are a couple of tenths behind them, so we are 2 tenths behind these two drivers. I tried to go for the dive bomb down the inside, but I just decided to stay behind for now. And not only that, I had to stay behind because I had to save quite a bit of fuel because we did underfuel the car by quite a lot. So obviously that's not ideal for us. We gotta make it 3 wide at the first corner as we're now gonna go and watch the Lando Norris and Gasly go side by side. We're gonna head into the Delaware chicane. We're gonna go for the dive bomb down the inside of these two drivers. Are we gonna make it? Yes, we are. Just about. Oh, we managed to execute the move, and I was rapping there just to commentate this special moment. So probably one of the best overtaking moves of my life. This dive bomb actually reminded me of Daniel Ricciardo overtaking 3 cars down the inside line at Azerbaijan 2017. So obviously this is quite a remarkable moment for me, as actually I think these two were busy with the I think these two are very busy with their battles. So they were caught napping lah. Yeah, they were caught napping. So fortunately Gasly didn't have any damage as well. Ferrari is doing quite bad in this track. Gasly in P5. I have no idea where his teammate Charles Leclerc is at the moment. So now I think Max Verstappen might be going into the pits, I believe. Yes, he is. I think he has damage. I think he might have damage. That's too early for a Red Bull to pit with the soft compound tires. Usually around lap 6. That's the most suitable time to pick. Or maybe even lap 7 as our strategy. As our strategy is to pit on lap 7. So it's either those 2 laps. But lap 5 is a bit too early. So most likely Verstappen has damage. So now heading into the Cover Grande. George Russell and Yuki Tsunoda now is in up to P4 and 5 respectively. Gasly is behind in the 6th place if I am not wrong, as we do take a bit of gravel there. And we did take the sausage curb, we did go over the sausage curb at the La Roja chicane, as now George Russell is going to go down the inside. We're going to brake earlier and we're going to go for the switchback move. And now we're going to get much earlier on the throttle and the ERS, as we're now going to go side by side with George Russell. But unfortunately he has DRS, so he's able to stay ahead of me. So I just decided to stay behind and save fuel. But that was a really good battle. The switchback was actually kind of nice, given that I had so little space at the apex there. But now Gasly is also getting into the mix as well. He's going to go around the outside of the Japanese, but unfortunately he couldn't. I'm not sure why. Oh, because he's pitting. So pitting on lap 6, the final 7 laps on the medium compound tires, as now Tsunoda is starting to catch up with DRS. I have DRS on George Russell as well. I wanted to go for the dive bomb on him, but I knew Tsunoda was there, so I had to give the space. And I had to yield from the battle, so I had to just stay at where I was. and pick a better time to fight for position. So as we now move towards the end of lap 7, we are gonna go into the pit lane. We are towards the end of lap 7, so we're gonna enter the pit lane now. So now we're gonna box this lap. I think George Russell's gonna do the same thing. Hamilton also boxes this lap. Oh, but that was a horrible uh, pit entry, I think that was. As now we're gonna head towards the pit lane. That's George Russell into his pit box. Yuki Tsunoda is taking the lead now as we now head into the pit box of our team. Unfortunately, that was quite a slow pit stop. I'm not sure why the team is really slow to pit stops, like usually around 2.6 seconds. Now there's Pierre Gasly heading into the main straight. He has the straight line speed, so he's gonna go around the outside, but we can still go for the dive bomb down the inside. And we managed to take 15th just about. So if the pit lane took much longer, I think Gasly would have been ahead of us, but thankfully they were fast enough for me to stay ahead of Gasly, despite him overtaking me for the first part of the braking zone of the first chicane. So now there's Mick Schumacher into the pits, there's Norris, Ocon, Ticktum, Schwartzman, and a couple of other drivers. There's Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly still behind us, and that's Valtteri Bottas in P9 and P10 now. As now there's Carlos Sainz. We're gonna go around the outside. The green flag is shown. I think there's a yellow flag behind us. I think that's a Ferrari involved, and the safety car is out, and Charles Leclerc is out of the session. So I'm not sure what happened. I think he must have collided with one of those. That came out of the pit lane. So let's just see what happened here. So now here's Charles Leclerc heading into the final corner. That's the Daniel Ricciardo, I believe that is. Yeah, that's Daniel Ricciardo if I'm not wrong, because Norris was in the pits earlier. So now there he was trying to go around the outside. Actually, no, sorry, the inside line. And that's Aston Martin of Lance Stroll, and he just collided with Charles Leclerc there. And that was a really unfortunate incident for the Ferrari. So that's one Ferrari out, and the other Ferrari in P8. So Ferrari obviously not having a good day here. And you look at this, I'm trying to apply the throttle on my steering wheel. Sorry, throttle on my accelerator of my sim racing setup, but I'm not sure what's happening now. That's the throttle once again. I'm not sure why the I'm not sure why I'm not sure why the game didn't pick up the my throttle application. So I think this is a bug in the game. Obviously there's nothing wrong with my pedals. I think this is a bug in the game. I think other people are experiencing this as well. So unfortunately we are going to be behind Yuki Tsunoda on cold tires as well. But now as there's Sergio Perez crossing the finish line, trying to start the race again, as we get an illegal overtake on Yuki Tsunoda. And unfortunately we overtook him just before the leading car crossed the line, so we're going to have to let him through. And we're going to re-overtake him once again as we leave Tsunoda a bit of space. But at the end of the day we still got up to P5. If that throttle problem didn't even happen in the first place, I think we would have been ahead of Russell, just behind Max Verstappen probably. But we are running out of laps to catch up to the other AlphaTauri. So there's Sergio Perez leading the race, Lewis Hamilton followed by Verstappen, Russell, me, and that's me behind P5, heading into the second Lesmo now, braking at around the just before the 50-meter board. Had it not been for the throttle problem, I think we would have been in P4. But unfortunately, we are only in P5. But that's actually still good, because we're gonna score 10 points, and Carlos Sainz is right behind us in P7. So this is a good day for us.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
They made great use of the clear air today then, and didn't allow anyone to exploit the slipstream behind them. What a great win here at Monza. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Okay, so first things first, Red Bull are actually starting to dominate the pack now. Lewis Hamilton is a bit off the pace, and he's running out of races to get close to the championship leader, who I believe is Max Verstappen. So Red Bull are gonna dominate the sport probably for the next half of this season. At least we finished in P5, so that's 10 points for us, and P7 for Carlos Sainz, which is 6 points for him. And we are gonna get 16 points in total for the Constructors' Championship, and I think we're gonna get ahead of Alpine. Ocon is in P15, and Alonso manages to score 1 point only. And not only that, me and Sainz actually go up the order of the driver standings, and we are actually up P6. I think we're able to challenge. I think we're able to challenge Ferrari into the next few races. So probably we might fight for 5th place. We do have enough races to do so. So obviously this is going to be a huge battle between me and Ferrari. Obviously this is not over yet, and unfortunately this is the end of today's video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications in order not to miss. I am the Fat Boy. Have a good day after watching this video. I'll promise you that we have more exciting videos coming ahead for the next week, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. We go into 6th gear, into 3rd, and we invalidated the lap time.